Hi, welcome to our favorite fighters for UFC 325. We have Volkanovski versus Lopez. My name is Connor,
This is Evan.
and thank you for joining us. Uh, 325 is real interesting just because it's the second UFC, not pay-per-view, whatever we're calling it. I'm calling it just UFC number of the year,
Numbered
and
event,
also the
yeah.
fact that they're doing it, yeah, numbered event,
I
and
don't know.
especially also because they're doing it back-to-back weeks is really kind of crazy. It's really kind of fast,
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like.
a weird choice. I don't know about that one. Yeah,
I mean, I
but I
think I
mean,
think it's
it's
gonna
I get it, but
get excitement up because it's 2 weeks in a row of big fights, but it's a little weird.
yeah,
I wonder if it's a part of they were having a little trouble getting some of like the fight nights working, so they really wanted just to push the big fights, the numbered fights. I don't know,
yeah.
but either way, I think before we get into some of the fights on this card, uh, we just yesterday when we were recording this, uh, we just had the first fight, our UFC fights on Paramount Plus.
324.
Yeah, first
Mm-hmm.
look, you said first the first fights on Paramount. What are your thoughts initially on that? Evan?
I thought it went pretty well, man. I thought it went really, really well. I'm really
I agree.
pleased. I was looking forward to the whole switch, obviously, in the first place.
Yeah.
And then once it happened, like it was what I hoped it would be overall. The whole streaming experience, the production behind it, I mean, they got also very fortunate with the actual fights. I mean, that helped the case a lot. These fights were all nuts, and we'll get in. I mean, we don't really have to get into that all actually, but a lot of KOs, a lot of action, and then a couple like all-time classics as well. And that's not guaranteed or
Absolutely.
anything, so they got kind of fortunate on that. But the whole thing I thought went pretty smoothly. There's a lot of ads, I guess, and people were kind of bitching about that a little bit, but I don't really care. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That doesn't bother me. Who
I
cares?
no, I completely agree.
The fights are when they are anyway. It doesn't really matter about that
Yeah.
type of shit. And I thought that you know it was well timed. Everything was good. The hour earlier was so much better. Oh my god,
Was
that
super nice. God.
what a huge win. What a huge win. And
Yeah.
obviously streaming differences. It's nice.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's definitely nice. Um, and I'm kind of with you on the whole ad more like actual ads in the fights because normally what they were doing, I don't know about you, I never noticed this. They didn't do the pre-fight ads, or maybe I didn't notice any pre-fight ads. You know what I mean? Where like Bruce Buckner gives an ad before the fight. I don't know if he did that this year or not this year, but this night. Um, but I
Mm,
don't remember it, which I
I know
hope he
what you mean.
doesn't do because
Yeah,
I like that. I would rather when they're in the fight
yeah.
just focus on the fight, and I don't want to hear an ad for Call of Duty as they're talking
I
up,
agree.
Dustin
Yeah,
versus Patty.
it's
It takes
tacky as
you out of
hell.
it. Yeah,
Tacky
it's
as
real
hell.
tacky.
Yeah.
And I would rather have ads in between the rounds. I would rather have ads in between the fights. Like who cares on that? It's a lot of dead air a lot of the times, and it gives a
Yeah,
little bit of a
I agree.
break to a lot of the announcers because they have to do less filling. They're just able to just whatever.
Yeah.
And I will say one of the things I really liked, we did talk about it during the fights, was it allowed them to do, I guess, personalized ads a little bit more with their brand names. So we saw, I think the two ones that really stick out to me were there's a fight, an ad with Bruce Buckner and Dustin Poirier,
Hmm.
which was really kind of cool. They did that, and then there was another one. It was like I think an Allstate or a tire ad with Aljamain Sterling. And I
Hmm.
really like that
Yeah.
they did this because it's something that we've seen in the past couple of years with the NIL and college sports, and obviously you see it in other stuff where it's like you're allowing the athletes to get promotion through these ads, get people to see them a little bit more and
Yeah.
recognize their faces outside of the 2 to 3 times you see them in fights throughout a year. It allows them to be a little bit
Right.
more
Yeah.
memorable and kind of stick in people's mind, which I think is really good in growing athletes and really good in, I guess, growing just kind of your marketability as a whole for the promotion. So
Yeah, I
I really
agree.
liked it. I didn't hate the ads. I didn't think they were super taking you out of the fighting stuff. Yeah, I definitely think we got less of the in the corners during the fight. Um, which I mean, there is a little bit of a loss there, not being able to hear, the corners say everything, but I don't know if we need to hear all of that personally. Um,
I would rather hear it.
yeah,
I've
I
heard
mean,
people talking about that as well. I would rather hear what the
yeah,
coaches have to say mid round. I find that stuff pretty interesting. Sometimes it's just like go get
right,
him, go get him
right,
better, and then it's just like okay, dude. But sometimes
right.
it's actually pretty fascinating stuff. Especially you got Tim Welch in there this past time with Sean. I'm always curious if he has a fascinating little nugget of wisdom, and we did get to hear some of that, so that's cool. But yeah,
Yeah. So like we still got
I'd
it,
rather hear
but
that
just
stuff.
not to the extent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's pretty fair. I definitely agree with that, but I think it's just something we can. I don't know if it's 100% that we need, but
hmm
I mean, not need, but it's definitely something we want. But
No,
anyway,
I'm with you.
either way, I think it was a good start to this new partnership they have with Paramount.
hmm
New era, I guess, if you want to call it, even with in the UFC. Hopefully, it gets better. Hopefully, obviously, they clean it up even a little bit. I don't know how much more they need of that, whatever, make it nicer, whatever, as they go along. But going into these, going into 325, I think we have uh, actually a few interesting fights. I think it's going to be another card of just like a lot of just slugfests, which is going to be a really fun card. But I think first on the person on the docket, we have one person we want to kind of bring up, one fight we want to bring up in the early prelims, and that is going to be Jonathan Mikhaev versus Oban Elliott. And I believe, Evan, you really like Oban Elliott?
Yeah, man. It's definitely worth checking out if you haven't heard of him yet, which would be kind of crazy. He's pretty well known, sort of, kind of. He came out
Mhm.
with a bang and got a bunch of good KOs in a row. He's a young guy, and he did lose last year, but hopefully he'll come
Yeah,
back and be the berserker that we thought he was when he first introed.
yeah. Our fighter to watch in the early prelims, I think we'll call it. Um,
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. For sure agree
yeah,
on that.
yeah. Going from there though into the prelims, one of the fights we want to talk about is going to be Jacob Malkoun versus Torres Finney. Um, I mean, I think Torres Finney is one of the guys we like watching. Keep an eye on him. He's massive
Yeah,
and
he's
a
fun to
good
watch.
striker. He's a
He's
really
fun
fun
to
guy to
watch.
watch. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting going up against Jacob Malkoun, who is
He's
a bit of a more of a ground guy, or at least can. He's got a lot. He's got a decent amount of subs on his record. So this could be an interesting match for Finney. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was gonna say he's fun to watch if you find
Yeah,
certain things entertaining. He's not fun to watch at all if you get bored by wrestling easily or
yeah,
bored by tie-ups, frequent tie-ups.
yeah. That's
Um,
fair.
he depends upon his physique is kind of insane. His frame is kind of
Yeah.
insane for this weight class.
Hmm.
Super big dude, super like short and stocky though, super muscular. So he
Yeah.
utilizes that in his fighting. You know what I mean? That's like what his whole
Hmm.
game is built around. The
Yeah.
fact that he can kind of steer people around with his wrestling and control. So that can be boring for some people to watch, but I think it's very entertaining. It's
No,
definitely worth
absolutely.
watching.
Yeah. I,
I don't
I,
really know a lot how this matchup's
yeah.
going to go, but
Right.
I think it's more of a sense of rather than one or two opponents, how the matchup goes or the next one goes. It's a fact of whether he can get good enough to be legit. He'll have to get a few wins in a row to be kind of considered
Yeah.
a
No,
contender. You know what I
definitely.
mean?
No, definitely. And I think this is a good opportunity for him because Finney is really kind of he is a striker, but he's almost kind of he's very much he likes to wrestle and kind of ground and
Oh,
pound
for
while
sure.
he's
Yeah,
wrestling. So it's going to be really
yeah.
interesting
His
seeing
his
him go up
striking's not that
against.
good.
Yeah, that's fair. And honestly, very fair.
I
It's
don't
going to
think.
be interesting seeing him going up against someone who's a little bit, again, like I said, better at subs. So I think he's more of a jujitsu guy. So this could be really interesting if Finney like does he want to go to the ground because even though he's good at wrestling and obviously he uses strength to kind of pin people down and wail on them,
Mhm.
if you have someone who's able to live on the bottom and kind of do some work there, it might
Yeah.
be a bit of a trap or at least a good opportunity for experience for Finney. Uh, running into this kind of
That's
style.
definitely true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably want to not get caught in guard for sure.
Yep.
If that guy has a good guard game, and he'll definitely want to just try to keep it to a wrestle him down, but do a ground and pound in a controlled fashion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe
Uh,
quarter or side control or something like that, but definitely not
yeah.
getting stuck and stuff. That's you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um,
No. Absolutely.
but I
But
haven't seen the other guy at all.
yeah, me
But
neither. But either way, that's one to
um,
watch. Another one we're looking for is going to be Junior Tafa versus Billy Elikana. Um, Junior
yeah,
Tafa is kind of in a
he's back, man.
rougher spot. He's back.
He's back
Uh,
finally.
yeah, last we
The
saw him, he kind of got smothered in his last fight, which is really rough to see. He just got absolutely destroyed
yeah,
on the ground. It's going to be interesting going up against Billy, who I think his name is Sally's boy. That's his nickname, or Susie's boy,
nice,
which is
nice.
interesting on that. Yeah. Either way, he is also same as I forget Junior's last opponent, but he's also very much a
Son of
um,
Susie.
son
Son
of
of
Susie.
Susie.
That's son of Susie's his nickname. Fucking wild. Uh, but
That's
either
something.
way, Billy's a little bit more of a mixed fighter where he has a decent amount of KOs, a decent amount of submissions. So this is really going to be a
Yeah,
test for Junior in are we going to see him get controlled on the ground again? Because we know that's a weak spot for him. So hoping for better, but I don't. It's possible. It's
yeah.
possible to see a repeat of his last fight, which would really suck.
That certainly seems possible to me. I think glad he actually made it back in there.
Absolutely.
Um, Still a week left. He might pull out between now and then. The
Unfortunately, it
pullouts
could
between
happen.
him and his brother just blow my mind. I feel like
Yeah,
there was some potential there for them to both not be great, but be
around.
maybe contenders.
Yeah,
Um, and between the pullouts constantly for this or that or sickness or injury or bullshit, it's just crazy how little they end up fighting, both of them. So
yeah,
it's frustrating. So I'm
yeah.
glad they're back in. I'm glad he's back in there, man.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Hope he shows up, honestly,
I
and has
agree.
learned
Hope he
some
shows
stuff.
up. Hope it's a good fight. Uh, but who knows? Um, either way, moving on now to the main
Yeah,
card. We have Tai Tuivasa versus Talison Teixeira. This would be an interesting fight. Both guys are really kind of looking for a get right fight. In this one, you had Talison Teixeira, who had a really bad KO against, or got knocked out by Derek Lewis, um, which was a
hmm
really kind of rough for him. It was his first loss, so he's really kind of looking for a way to kind of get back. And then obviously you have Tai Tuivasa, who is on a 5-fight losing streak, which is really rough.
that
However,
is unbelievable, dude.
it
This
is
guy's on a
absolutely
five-fight
unbelievable.
losing streak right now. That's
Yeah,
unreal.
it's absolutely
That's
unreal.
unreal.
However, we got to say though, 3 of his 5 losses were
Eight
to some of the
votes.
top guys in the
Yeah,
division.
yeah.
I mean, he lost to Cyril Gahn,
Fair.
he lost to Sergey Pavlovich, lost to Alexander Volkov. His last 2 fights were against less noticeable or notable guys, which is kind of rough. Um, so he's really looking for a get right. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on Ty versus Towson?
Dude, the 5-fight lose streak fact that you threw there blows my mind. That
It's
doesn't seem
bad.
real, and yet it is.
No,
He's been just consistently losing.
yeah, no,
Yeah, he's another. I mean, it kind of just falls right in the exact same vein of what I was just saying about the Tafa brothers. He's another one who, in a weight class with not that much competition,
hmm
relatively, no offense, skill wise, um, with like potential to be very powerful and dangerous, and then to just like not show up half the time is very frustrating as a fan. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And you
no,
still kind of love
absolutely,
him for being a fun guy, but it's frustrating to be like, dude, you could have been top three if you would have gotten your
yeah,
shit together better, and you know what I mean. Had the
yep,
had the the isolation of like Islam or Sean O'Malley or someone who just lives and breathes this shit and focuses on the coaching.
Mhm.
But that's just so not what you got with this guy, and that's why he is where he is and with the 5-fight losing streak, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really have any thoughts on the matchup per se. Honestly, I think it's just
Yeah.
a coin toss of who shows up and who has the ability to be dangerous quickly.
Right. I think
You
it'll
know.
be I think it'll be an interesting one because they're both strikers, so we're gonna get, classic heavyweight slugfest. But yeah, and I think also with Ty, I mean he was up there fighting some of the best in the division. So like obviously, he has the skill level to be up there. We just gotta actually see the commitment to get him up there. Either way,
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's gonna be a good fight, but it's gonna be I think I agree with you. A little bit of a toss up. Who knows who's gonna really pull this one out? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on to another big striking fight. Um, Probably maybe a little better. Still really fun. We got Rafael Fiziev versus Mauricio Rufy. Is it Rufy or Hoofy? I always forget.
It's pronounced both ways.
Okay. Okay.
Typically, the letters in the language would be pronounced Hoofy, but a lot of people call it Roofy, and he's pronounced it both ways, so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I've heard it both ways. I've heard Hoofy, I've heard Roofy.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But Hoofy, whatever. Yeah, that'll be a really good striking matchup, and they're both
Absolutely.
fascinating punchers. That's what I think is cool about this. I think Rafael has a bit more footwork in his game. I mean, I can't say that because Hoofy just got that spinning head kick KO, which was
Yeah.
probably the KO of 2025, in my opinion, honestly. Now that I think of,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think there's a cooler KO in 2025 than that. Um, damn, they're just both dynamic strikers, man. They're both really dynamic strikers. It's a cool matchup. I like it a
Absolutely.
lot.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Um, yeah, I think we're kind of in a different situation. I mean, yeah, I think both of them are in interesting situations because I think they're both kind of looking to really cement themselves in the top 10 of lightweight and kind of hopefully get their way,
Oh, for sure,
kind of pushing
for
on the
sure.
door to where our co-main is with Dan Hooker and BSD. They want to be getting close to the fight that gets them in the top five, gets them into contention.
Yeah,
I think they're both capable of
find a guy
getting
like
there.
Patty to jump up there. Yeah,
Right, absolutely. So I think they're both capable of getting there, but it's very much a. I know. With Raphael, we've had some issues. I mean, he got injured. He lost twice to Justin, and kind of brought back.
yeah,
He's working back.
that
He
slowed him
beat
down.
Ignacio Bahamondes, which is great. Um,
Yeah,
so we're
another
looking
great
kind of
striker. That's a great win.
at another great striker, absolutely. And kind of same with
Yeah.
Mauricio. I forget his last loss. He just lost to someone. Oh, he just lost to BSD. That's right. He got subbed by
Oh
BSD,
yeah,
which was pretty bad.
and
Um,
that was a great win by BSD.
it was a great win by BSD. We'll probably talk
Pushed him
about
up a
that a little
lot.
later, but yeah. So that's another one where he's trying to look back, but I don't think that loss is really going to determine much or affect this fight too much because he's not going up against a
Will.
grappler or someone who grapples at all. Um, Either way, I think this is going to be a high action, high striking, going to be a really fun uh, fight on the main card.
I'm psyched for this fight. This is one that I don't think people are. Do you agree that do you think this is the most underrated fight of this card and probably of this month?
I think so. Um, ye- yeah, I
Because
think
this is
so. I
some
think
truly world class striking. Like if you think about it, I know people are gonna say
absolutely.
like, "Oh no, it's not underrated because people are watching Mauricio Rufy most of the time." It's like I guess, but like this is some real
Yeah,
best of
no,
the
yeah,
best goddamn near striking. I don't know if it's the best of the best compared to like Ilya per se, but it's pretty damn good.
no,
And they
yeah,
have other faults that keep them from being championship level, which we saw in
absolutely.
Rafael's fight against Justin a bit. His ability to
Hmm.
take damage isn't always quite there, and
Yep.
we saw Rufi on the mats, and that was a hole for sure, right? against
Yeah, I
BSD. We
think
saw his weaknesses there. So they have their weaknesses, but like strictly striking, I mean, that's where it's cool that they're both fighting each other because they're both so damn good at it, and they don't have to play elsewhere in their weaknesses. Just a
no,
cool
absolutely,
exhibition of talent on the feet.
absolutely, and I think I agree with you. Where this might be the most underrated, at least like on the main cards of these two fights. It's going to be the most underrated one
Dude, I
of
think.
the first two.
I mean, there's a chance I get dead wronged here after the fact. There's a chance this fight is a total snooze fest, and I'm a total idiot. But I think this could be one of the coolest fights that we see in quite a while. Like that Justin Patty fight was pretty bonkers. I think this one could be
It was a good
similarly
fight.
bonkers.
Yeah,
Um, and people will be saying, "Damn, these two are cool." After this fight, I really have
I
a
think
high
so.
degree of confidence in that. I think they'll both show their best here.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely agree. There is always the chance it turns out to like a Khalil versus Jamal Hill fight, but I don't think
A
that's going
much
to happen.
more
I think
a much more measured thing. Yeah,
right. I don't think that's
I
going to
don't
happen.
think
I
based
think they're
on
both kind of
but the
going
way
at
that
it.
Raphael fought against Justin, he pushed. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
they were both
He's a
warriors
pressure.
tonight.
He's a
Pushed.
pressure striker. I
Yeah,
think
I
that's the
don't
thing.
think he's going to let that happen.
No. I really don't either. I think it's going to
I don't
be
think either one really wants that. That's why I'm
no.
excited for it. But anyways, very
Absolutely.
excited for this one.
Very excited for that one. This could be a super fun fight and definitely one of the ones we're watching, are looking for. Uh, After that, I mean, we got the co-main event of the evening: Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint Denis. Huge fight.
Yeah.
Um, as we're kind of looking at the like intro to this fight, they're both in interesting spots. Wherein Dan Hooker has kind of been up in like that top five-ish area in the UFC for a couple years now. He's been kind of waiting to get into the top, to the top of the division. He just had a really bad loss to Armin in a split decision against Gamrot, in which he got kind of controlled on the ground a little bit. So this is an interesting test for him, I think, in throwing him up against someone else who's very well rounded, very good grappler, who likes to grapple, but also with strength, with some of the best. Um, and then with Benoit Saint Denis, he's been kind of up to the top, I think. A couple years ago, he fell off pretty hard, and now he's kind of making his way back and trying to get. Uh, Same with Dan Hooker, trying to get back into the top, top five, get that title shot in there. Um, how do you think they're both kind of looking in this moment going into the fight?
Well, I think that BSD is looking great coming off that win off Mauricio Hufi. Looked really
And Benito
dominant and kind of,
Dariush.
yeah. Although he's kind of winnable against at this point. That was a sick win, though. I think he's looking like the guy we thought he would look like.
Mhm.
Um, whereas Mauricio, or not Mauricio, whereas Dan Hooker has most recently looked very human against Armin. But I don't discount that loss that badly because I know it's a big loss, but Armin's one of the best wrestlers on planet Earth in MMA and the UFC right now. I mean, he really is that good. I think he would. I mean, this is a whole other talk for another episode, but I think he would do pretty damn well against Ilya. I think the most dangerous contender for Ilya is Armin. So Armin wrestling you um, to to win against Dan Hooker. I mean, I don't really knock Dan Hooker for that at all. It's a pretty impossible task.
Yeah,
I feel like this is a
absolutely.
great close fight, man. I
Yeah.
think this is a fascinating fight. In the last one, I was thinking technique versus technique, but similar in striking. This is similar in
Hmm.
striking, but this is more like guts versus guts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like just heart versus heart. This is a big dog fight.
Yeah. Two insanely tough dudes who are willing to go to war and just slug it out. Um,
Hmm.
is this only a 3 round fight?
Probably,
Probably only 3 round
but I
fight.
don't
That's
know. I don't
unfortunate.
know.
I hope it's a 5 round fight because that would really be. This is one of those where you kind of want to see it be a 5 round fight. Unless it ends up with Benoit Saint Denis just really kind of controlling the ground, controlling Dan on the ground. In that case, I don't really want to see that go 5 rounds, but I think if we get some good striking and get some good back and forth with that, I think it'll be a uh,
Oh yeah.
really interesting fight, really entertaining co-main. Um, yeah. Uh, I think for this fight for Dan versus BSD, who are your thoughts? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
Um, BSD should win this, to be honest, man. He
Yeah.
has the ability to wrestle Hooker if he needs to, and he should pull it. And Hooker's not has shown obviously wrestling defense gaps.
Mhm.
I think that BSD's momentum is there as well. And
Mhm.
yet somehow I feel like this is a 50-50 at the same time. What do you think, man? This is
Yeah.
a tough
No,
one to call. They both have the ability to pull a Rocky moment. You know what I mean?
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, yeah, I think probably by the way I've been talking about it, you could probably tell I definitely think BSD has a significant edge in grappling. And I think
Mm.
unlike in the Patty versus Justin, where Patty had a significant edge in grappling but never went there, BSD is willing to go for the takedown, work the ground game really. So I don't think Dan Hooker can really bait him into trying to stand up and shoot, or at least prevent him from going down. He was able to do it against Gamrot pretty well by getting kind of like guillotines and forcing Gamrot to slow on his shoots, which gave Dan Hooker enough time to get back up.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case with Armin. So it's going to be, kind of a toss up where if you think it's going to happen against BSD, I don't think BSD is as good as Armin in grappling. So I don't think it's, that much of against
No,
him.
it's
But
not even close. It's not
yeah,
even
no,
close.
but
Yeah.
but I still think that's something that could happen. So it's like, I definitely think Dan has a shot. And I think while they're on the feet, I think Dan is going to be really dangerous. Um,
Oh yeah.
I just think it's going to go to the ground, and I think that's where BSC is going to have. I think a little better uh, control over Dan than Gamrot did, personally. So
I don't know. I don't agree on that.
okay,
I don't agree on that. Well, his tenacity is kind of more insane, but his
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like Dan might be able to wrangle out of those spots because I definitely think Gamrot's strict wrestling is superior.
hmm
BSD. Um,
I mean, hey, fair enough.
man,
He was able to
this
do
one
it and
kind
won
of me
that
second
fight.
guessing myself a lot. There, I so my first thought was BSD, kind of like your thought was. That still is probably the most logical way this goes, but the more I think about this one, the more I think that Dan Hooker might surprise us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He can be a very
Oh,
surprising
absolutely.
guy sometimes.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. I mean, yeah. You said it. Can't count Dan
And
Hooker
BSD
out.
is surprisable against. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. He's not rock solid in his techniques where you can't
He's
shake him
vulnerable
out of it.
to being beaten by some craziness,
Yeah.
as we saw against Dustin.
As we saw against
Dustin
Dustin.
went all the crazy on him, and it worked.
Dan can do it too. Dan
Dan
has
Hooker
that
is
capacity.
capable of. Dan Hooker has that kind of firepower and intensity and um, 110% monster type shit that Dustin
Oh yeah.
had, and then he could pull that. I think Dan Hooker KO might be a. I'm sure that is a deep, deep underdog, but
Yeah.
that's actually
Might be worth
not a
taking
bad
if you
move on
want to
that one,
risk a
in my
little money
opinion.
on it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. A little bit for a lot type of idea. He
Yeah.
is a dog, by the way. We kind of both were. Seems like we were right on our
Saying
reads a
it.
bit. Dan
Yeah.
Hooker plus 260, BSD minus 325.
Okay.
That's not too
That's
surprising. I mean, that's a little wider than I thought, honestly. I think that
yeah.
puts disrespects Dan Hooker just a bit.
Sure.
Um,
That could also be Dan Hooker's coming off a loss because he's coming off of he's on a
yeah,
win
no, you're
streak.
right. It's recent history, and that's kind of what I was saying when we first brought it up recent history is against him, whereas BSD seems to have a lot of really nice momentum right now.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
so,
hmm So I think one of the big things as we're
anyways,
looking
yeah.
at also with this fight, with looking at kind of the outcomes of what happens after the fight, how do you think this fight's going to affect the lightweight division, no matter who wins?
Well, let's pull up the rankings here.
Yeah.
We have
And I
Ilya as
will
the
also
champ,
preface
but
it with
he's gone.
right,
Yeah.
as of right now, Justin is the interim champ. Patty just lost to Justin. I don't know if the rankings have been uh,
They haven't.
moved
No, they do it
because of the fight
Mondays.
yet. So yeah,
Mondays usually. Mondays or Tuesdays or whatever the hell that is.
yeah,
Maybe Tuesday actually. Anyway, yeah, Ilya stepped away. Armin's number 1. Charles 2. We have Max is 3, and then 4 and 5 just voting for the interim, which is kind of
yep,
funny, honestly.
yeah.
Justin's the new interim
Yeah.
champ.
Yep,
So below Justin, you have Armin, then Charles, then Max.
yep.
That's how it stacks right there. And then below that,
Patty
obviously,
probably
Patty
drops
is a
below
5. He
Dan,
might drop a bit.
Gamrot.
But anyways, yeah, then Dan, then Gamrot, then BSD, then Fiziev, then Money Moicano, so on and so forth. So, anyways, back to this fight. They don't have all that much to gain based off each other's names at this level of the rankings to put them
Sure.
into a number 1 spot. It's just not a. I wouldn't even call this a guaranteed title eliminator when Armin exists, even though
Yeah,
their relationship is what it is with him right now. Even though that's the case, you still have to acknowledge the fact that he is ranked 1 and that he could get the title shot at any time. Even though we make jokes about like when is Armin going to get the title shot? We joke about that, right?
absolutely.
Even with that in mind, and when you try to calculate the next title shot, when the fuck is it going to be Armin? You still
Mhm.
have to acknowledge that it could at any time realistically be Armin, and it would be a perfectly logical thing to do. So you have to keep that in mind when we talk about the rest of it. Like,
Right, right.
still a very live contender for that. But then that Charles and Max are fighting. This is interesting because that just took place, and this kind of spells out the next few months of this division, which is my favorite.
Yeah,
Max and Charles, the winner of that is going to have some leverage for a title shot as well, obviously. But then you
I
got
think it
into the
depends.
factor: when is Ilya coming back? Is Justin going to have another interim defense before then? Is Ilya going to come back and then it's Justin versus Ilya? Does Ilya win that? Probably. And then Justin retires? Probably. Um,
Mhm.
what's next from but the Dan Hookers, the BSDs, the Raphaels,
Yep.
this is all the people right after that. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
They're only a
They're
couple fights
fighting
away
for a
from being
shot
there.
at a title
even though
eliminator. Is
it's
really what's
even though
happening.
it's stagnant with blocks and they're paired up, they're only a couple fights away from being right there. This
Absolutely.
one and then
Yeah,
another one maybe, depending on who it
yeah.
is, but depending on the matchmaking, they're right up in there in the mix, but they have to win these. The ones that are all on the schedule on the table, these have to get one so that they can get to the next step to become a
Right,
belt relevancy, so to speak.
right. Yeah. So I was thinking, is there a chance that the either, if I'm guessing, probably the winner of Rafael versus Mauricio would probably be a better candidate for this. But do you think one of them in this fight would end up fighting Patty as the next one? Maybe the loser, maybe not the
Happen, yeah.
winner. Maybe the winner fights
Well, I think
Armin.
that makes sense for Patty. Um,
Yeah.
I don't see why not. They're all
Yeah.
exciting guys that you want to track and follow.
Showcase.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or perhaps Patty will get the loser of Charles versus Max. I could see that as well if they want to keep him just strictly in the top 5.
Right. I
Um,
could I could also see
not really
probably the
sure. I'm
winner
not
of
sure how
this.
what degree they
Yeah.
want to. I don't know what degree they want to handhold Patty at this stage. You know what I mean? I do not know the answer to that,
Right.
and I think it heavily
Right.
depends on what they feel is best for him in a way, not necessarily what rank 6 loses to rank 5 equals rank X for
Right.
Patty. You know?
Right. No, I definitely agree, and I think at least in his kind of defense, what was good for him is the fact that he was able to go the distance with Justin. It prevents him,
Yeah, that definitely helped him.
even though he was clearly dominated for the majority of the fight. he definitely got his licks in. But the fact that
Big
he
time got
wasn't
his
knocked
licks in.
out,
Big time showed heart.
yeah, absolutely. I think that that's going
Oh
to
yeah,
allow
big
him
money
to
time.
stay to not drop too far and allow him to keep his name in the ring for uh, the big fights. Um,
Yeah,
I,
agreed.
I, I think I like the maybe the winner of this fights the loser of Charles and Max. I kind of like that. Um, I also think depending on how long it's going to take Ilya to come back, if maybe he comes back pretty quickly and fights Justin, I also wouldn't hate like if BSD wins either him or the winner of Charles and Max fighting Armin as the title eliminator. I don't think if Dan wins, I don't think you give him another shot at Armin because that was a pretty definitive loss.
That's a
Um,
stupid idea. Yeah, no.
yeah, no, I definitely agree. That's why I'm saying if
Charles or
BSD
Max would
wins,
make more sense. Charles or Max would make more sense for Dan, stylistically.
oh, I no, I definitely agree. But I'm just thinking of like
That'd
if
be
you're trying
cool.
to set that up, I think yeah, it's probably a way you do that. However, I mean, I like that we're getting a lot of fights at lightweight early on in the year,
Yeah, a lot of
in the
exciting ones
top
too.
10.
Not
A
just fights,
lot of
but great
excitement.
fights.
Absolutely, it's
Dope
really
fights.
yeah, it's really kind of pushing that division a lot, which is good,
Oh, big
especially
time.
with a vacant champion, which usually a vacant champion tends to stagnate the division a little bit.
Royally
And so
screw
I'm
things
really,
up. Yeah, not
yeah,
the
I'm
case
really
here.
glad that
These
it's
guys are
not
cooking.
happening. Yeah, and I think that's just
Lightweight is
lightweight.
cooking. There's an interim
Yeah.
champ. The generational talent champion is out momentarily, but worry not. The rest of
We're
the
not.
boys are
They're
going
fighting.
ham. Everything else is cool.
Yeah. And I think that's just always been the thing with lightweight, right? Because I mean, even back
Yeah,
when you
it's
had Justin and Dustin
power
was
is
in
crazy in
there and
lightweight, dude.
Charles, when
Yeah,
Islam was there and like no one could beat Islam, you still had Dustin, Justin, Charles were all mixing it up, and Dan was still in there.
the
BSC was still
firepower has
trying to
been
come
nuts
in.
at lightweight for a long time. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think it's not a stagnant division. The people who were at the top want to fight. They're not just like I only want to fight for the belt. They're like I just want to fight, which is really cool, which is really
not
fun.
always. It hasn't always
I
been that
mean,
way all the time,
yeah,
but
recently,
you still get some. You get some damn good ones just based on the level of skill that gets to be matched up with each other.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I absolutely agree. But yeah. Either way, this could be a fun one and a really fun one to have as the co-main potentially. But from there, we're going into the main event of the evening. We have Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego
Yes.
Lopes, part two.
Oh, stupid.
Alexander the Great.
Just stupid.
Oh,
Let's
absolutely. Yeah. What are your thoughts in this
let's
one?
just
Because
talk. Let's just get it on the table. This is the stupidest
yeah,
rematch, dude. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed that they even made this rematch.
yeah,
What
I
a you
I
gotta take
completely
you,
agree.
you gotta take a drink when you consider the fact that this fight is happening and that this is our main event and that this is what's next for Volk
Yeah, I mean,
because it's just ridiculous that this is what they came up with. Volk is one of the. All right, hold on. I realize the irony of me gassing up Volk majorly while wearing a Volk shirt is a little insane. But I was about to say Volk is one of the generational talents that we have right now by far and away. And then I look down at myself and realize that I'm saying that as I'm wearing this, and it seems over the top ridiculous.
got it. You gotta cut back on the
But
glaze a little bit there, my guy.
I gotta chill. But it's true, and the fact that he's getting a Lopez rematch after he handedly beat Lopez.
Yep.
Here's here's my take actually about this whole thing.
Sure.
Here's the disrespect for me about it. It's not that I want Volk to have a cakewalk and an easy win. That's not what I'm saying.
Hmm.
And it's not that he has to only fight legends. I don't think that's true either, or anything like that. It's that
Hmm.
obviously Lopez doesn't deserve the rematch. It doesn't make sense for him to get the shot. That's a part of it. But it's also that on a deeper level, the only thing that's changed about this matchup whatsoever, for Volk's sake, at his age, is that he's gotten a little bit older. It's
Hmm.
basically he's not. He has. I mean, think about his skill level and what he knows and what he's capable of doing and yada yada. yada yada. The only thing that's really changed since their last fight is that he's gotten a little older.
Yeah,
Lopez, the opposite. Lopez has gotten a little bit more in his prime, gotten a little bit more experience. They're basically just running it back against Volk and say, hey, we're going to roll the dice again, and this time they're just a little bit more loaded against you. Not much, but a little bit more loaded against you. Let's roll them again. It's like, okay, why? What's the point of this? I already showed,
yeah,
from Volk's point of view, you already showed you can beat this guy, even past
yeah,
your prime. Now you
yep,
have to do it even a little bit further past your prime? What the hell is the logic in that? It's just obviously Lopez is an exciting guy, and they want to see if
yeah,
they can get an exciting guy in there as a champ. It just doesn't. But there's no reason beyond that, and it's just one of those things where talked about in the last episode. Over time, these decisions hurt the company, which therefore hurts the sport because the company is such a big
yeah,
portion of the sport. So it hurts the sport.
yeah.
By shortchanging yourself in these little decisions of give this guy this title shot, like Lopez against Volk too. It's just
Mhm.
like you could be doing the meritocracy thing. In the long run, it would help, but instead, it's this. So that's my
Yeah,
thoughts.
no,
I'm
no,
not a fan. I'm not
I
a fan.
completely agree. It
It
feels
bugs me a
like
lot.
it feels like it's the safe pick. It's an exciting person that they know. They know Diego. They know his fighting style. They know it's a fun fight with him between him and Volkanovski. The last fight was a good fight. It was a really good fight. However, you have a few people who have been kind of waiting, right? You have Movsar Evloev. He is undefeated.
Oh yeah,
He just had a fight. He beat Aljamain Sterling. He beat Aljamain Sterling before Volk fought Diego the first time, and hasn't fought anyone since. He should have gotten the second
that's
fight.
insane that he
I
hasn't fought since.
absolutely. I
To
I
the
think
to the
I do
naysayers
think
on that,
yeah.
yeah, I was just gonna say to the naysayers who say you can't give him a title shot if he doesn't fight and he hasn't fought. I agree with you on that. That
He
I hear you on that.
well, I will say this. He hasn't fought
He hasn't gotten to
he
fight.
wasn't that far behind the Vulcan that he fought in UFC 310, and then the Volk Diego fight was
Yeah,
314. So like it was around the same time. So it's not as
yeah,
if his last fight was like UFC 300 or something like that. Um, I do think that Diego deserves another chance at the belt. I just don't think he deserved the next shot at the belt. He didn't
yeah.
deserve an
That's
immediate
absurd.
rematch. That's something where you have a champion who's been a champion for a little bit. They lose, and then you give them the immediate rematch. That's like happened with Sean, happened with Alex Pereira. Um, those are the times where you give someone an immediate rematch and a title shot. I
Yeah,
don't think you give it for someone who has never been the champion, tried once, lost the first title one, and then didn't really. I mean, he had one fight, he beat Jan Silva, but like, is that enough of a show to say, hey, he needs to jump Evelyn, he needs to we need to stuff out Yair Rodriguez, or maybe even like a Laurent Murphy, some of those other people who are sitting there like really could
mhm.
get those fights and probably do deserve a shot at the belt, and might be a little more interesting to see someone else against Volk, as opposed to Diego.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't
We're
know.
going
With
with the
this
safe
division,
choice.
it's just like, yeah, we don't need to keep digging into it, but it's just the fact that this division has so much talent that's like
Yeah,
not to say that's the best division per se right now, or that it's all these guys are like Islam level, because it's not that. It's just that they possess capabilities that are generational. You know what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah,
Like Evloev's wrestling, just wrestling, not anything else, just his wrestling. His ability to control and keep doing it is
hmm
generational, in my opinion. Like
yeah,
Marab level or better. Like just incredible, incredible. That's
right.
why it's frustrating for me to not see him get a title shot. That's And same with Aljo, honestly. Same with Aljo.
Well,
Same with
yeah.
I don't think. Same with Lerone Murphy to some extent, but
Hmm.
yeah, no, same with him as well. Not generational level, but he's just so electric.
Yeah. No, I
You
agree.
like to see
I would
electric
say,
people in a title shot, you know?
yeah. No, absolutely. I would say I think Eljo probably deserved a shot a little earlier. Obviously, he did fight Evloev and lost to Evloev, so that's a good reason for him not to get a title shot. Um,
Yeah, well,
but
that makes
having
yeah,
someone
I get
having
that for
someone
sure.
who yeah having someone who was a champ at a lower weight class, I feel like they should be pushing him a little harder than they are. Um,
My God, I mean,
or at
it's
least
been that way
trying to
since
give him the big
forever.
fights. Yeah.
Oh, dude, the disrespect to Aljo by the UFC is absurd to me, and I don't know. Haters can of Aljo, they exist and they're plentiful, and I kind of get it in some ways, but in other ways, like,
Mhm.
dude, this guy is incredibly talented, and the fact that he's gotten just the most dog shit not dog shit matchups per se, and the guys were terrible or something, but just the way he's been pushed,
Yeah,
kind of pushed down,
yeah,
shafted a bit by the promotion is frustrating to say the least.
yeah. He's not getting priority in the way that
Oh hell no!
someone that we've seen
He's getting
like
looked
Patty.
over like he's someone who did some like horrendous
He's
sin
getting
to the
looked over like
company.
Armin,
Yeah, and
as
ironically, they're
opposed to
both
like a
wrestlers,
Patty.
so
He's
there you
getting looked
go.
over like an Armin. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. Either way, even though we've had a lot of negative things to say about the fight, 'cause it's not a fight that we really wanted to see as Volk's first defense coming back. However, I still think it's going to be a fun fight. I still think it's going to be a good fight. I don't think it's going to be a
Yeah.
fight you're not going to want to see. It's just
Oh yeah.
what
It's a cool. That's
what
the
more do you
other
have to
thing,
say?
dude.
Yeah,
It's a cool fight in the sense that Volk's really good. I've been shitting on this fight this whole time, but it's like Volk is a generational talent. Volk is a generational talent. Lopez isn't a young, exciting, fantastic fighter. This is a good fight. I'm just
yeah,
pissed that this matchmaking took place for what it is. Like
right,
guy X versus guy Y, this is a really cool fight, and I'm definitely gonna watch. And
yeah,
there's no way in hell I would miss it. It's just frustrating to me to see those guys get passed up, but for what it
yeah,
is this is a
yeah.
canvas fight, so I get why they put it together for that reason.
Yeah, definitely feels more of a hey, we're just starting this partnership with Paramount. We really need some big name
Oh,
fights.
absolutely, yeah.
It was one of
Worked
the
last
bigger name
weekend.
fights of last year.
It
So
worked last weekend.
yeah, no, absolutely. Well, with that though, I think we're gonna go into our favorite fighters of UFC 325. Uh, so starting with me, I think one of the fighters that I think is going to be my favorite fighter to watch for this one is going to be Torres Finney. Um, I just think he's such a I don't want to say specimen, but he's such an incredible dude. Uh, I mean, he's also just such an
Specimen, yeah,
interesting he's such an interesting wrestler. The way he kind of does that ground controls, he's
yeah,
a little bit different to how a lot of people do it. Even like a Marab, he's kind of similar to the Marab, and he goes for the shoots and the takedowns. But Marab doesn't really do a whole lot when he's done it. Finney goes for the shoots, goes for the takedowns, and then starts applying damage. So it's a little bit more fun when he gets to the ground. And I think this test against someone who's more of a jujitsu guy, at least from the little bit of research I've done, I think it's an interesting test to see him, to watch him on this card, and see how he responds to that, how he does in this fight. Next one for me is definitely going to be Rafael Fiziev. He's been one of my favorite fighters, at least since we started this podcast and a little bit before. I just think he's a really fun fighter to watch, and his style's really, really cool. And him and Mauricio Rufy is going to be a really incredible fight to watch, I think. And then last one for me is going to be BSD. I really like the way he's been
great
fighting.
choice.
Loved his stick knockout of Beneil, and I mean when he dominated Mauricio Rufy on the ground and just got the sub. I think he's incredibly, like you said, I think his momentum is high right now. and I really want to see what happens when he
Hmm.
runs into the wall that is Dan Hooker.
I like it. I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So, Evan,
Those are
what are
great picks, man.
your? Yeah, thank you.
That's a good
Uh,
question. Those are good
yeah,
picks, but this is also this fight card has a lot of my favorite fighters on it. To be honest with you,
yeah.
I could fill double the slotted amount of favorite fighters for sure easily on this thing. Um, so that's a big part of why I'm so excited for this coming weekend. Is a lot of these guys are just so fan friendly and fun to watch. A couple of favorites of mine, PSD. I'm rooting for him now, man. I wasn't when he fought Dustin, but I'm rooting for him now. He's a fun guy. He's fast paced. He's
Absolutely.
usually all action, not always, but usually, and he's got crazy heart. He's a fun guy to watch for sure. Next, I mean, again, I could conclude a lot of these guys, but Dan Hooker, holy shit, he's fun to watch. Same type of reasons,
Absolutely.
honestly. Pushes the pace 100% of the time. Very tough as nails. Gets into insane back and forth exchanges and wars. Um, and just a fun dude to follow on the internet too. I really enjoy
Oh
following
yeah.
his little fist fight shit he has going on in Australia or New Zealand is very entertaining. And then favorite fighter of the weekend.
I mean, you could have seen
Volk.
that. You could have seen that from a
I just
mile
love the
away.
man, man. I just love the man. He's just such a great guy to follow. I think he's genuinely a good dude, which is great. And then his lifestyle is very entertaining as well. If you haven't checked out Cooking with Volk, his cooking channel is a
Looking good
good
ball.
watch, a good time. And then fighting wise, I mean,
Funny dude too. A very funny
he's done
dude.
it all, dude. He's an entertaining dude. I used to when I first saw him, I rooted against him when he was fighting Max because I liked Max um, a lot because who doesn't love Max? And then he just kept beating dudes,
Yeah, yeah.
and he just
Can't
kept
stop.
leveling up and getting cooler and better and better and better and learning more shit and becoming more complete every fight. And then when he fought Islam that first time, holy moly, dude! Volk versus Islam 1 was still one of my favorite fights ever for sure.
It's a good
Volk was
fight.
just such a such an incredible guy to watch in that matchup against the impossible fighter like Islam. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I mean, I'm rooting for him. I know he's past his prime. I know this weekend is. I don't want to make this the whole story of the weekend or anything. To like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say this at the end and try this to be the summary of the whole thing because I don't think it is. But there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. But a big
Mhm.
part of the story for Volk is he too old?
Yeah.
Um, so just with him on my with him on my mind as we close out, I guess here, it sucks to think that he's as a favorite fighter, probably one of my absolute favorites, honestly, in the UFC right now. I think, and
Mhm.
37, dude.
Yeah.
He was too old 2 years ago almost. Now I'm worried for him a little bit.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I
I'm
think it's
worried
one of
for
those
him,
things where
but we'll see.
I think we got to
You
enjoy
just don't know.
the fights. Yeah. No, I think so. Hopefully we get
Yeah,
some more fights out of him, but I definitely think we got to enjoy the fights we get with him right
I don't
now
know.
because once he loses, he might be done, and that's fine. But for now,
Came back
we're
from the
rooting
Ilya
for
loss,
Alexander the
but
Great.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
I am for now.
Well,
But I mean, Lopez is a great guy too. I mean, he's entertaining to
oh
watch
yeah,
too, honestly.
oh
But I'm definitely
absolutely
rooting for
no,
Volk. Yeah.
yeah, no, absolutely yeah. Diego's a good dude. He's a fun dude to watch, but gotta lean Volk.
Dude,
Um,
him getting that win against I can't remember who it was, and then hopping in. Do you remember him put the sweats on? We were watching this together.
I
Put the
think so.
sweats on
Yeah.
for Alexa Grasso as her jiu-jitsu
Yes.
coach.
Oh
Hops
my gosh.
in the
Yes, that fight
corner
was
for her,
wild.
and then
Yeah.
corners her for her fight right after.
Same card.
Incredible,
Yeah.
incredible to see.
No.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah. I think that honestly, I think that was the moment that made me really appreciate Diego. Like
it made you a
being
fan.
able to do that. Yeah, I think so.
Me
Because
too.
even
That
like
definitely helped me become a fan of his.
yeah. Because I mean, like you even see people like obviously Khabib's doing cornering Umar, and I think he even had Islam in his corner for this last fight. But like
Did he did?
you don't see people fighting and then going to quarter someone else in the same thing. So
Hell no, it's not a
I
thing
just
that
think that's
happens
super
because
cool. Yeah,
yeah,
people
it is
don't do it,
cool.
and I think it's
He's a
super
different
cool.
kind of
I
guy. He's a different kind of guy for sure.
absolutely. I'm hoping he gets a title reign. I'm hoping we see a belt on him at some point. I just don't know if I want it to be this weekend. And
I'm with you though. I'm with you. No, I'm
yeah,
with you. I
yeah,
But that goes right back to what I'm saying when we talk about favorite fighters. Imagine if you're a fan of the NBA. Run this through me. Run through this with me real quick. Run through this with me real
sure,
quick. Imagine you're a
sure.
fan of the NBA, but you have instead of a team, you have let's say 7 teams. And one weekend, all your favorite teams are playing against each other. That's like what this weekend is like for fights for me. Most of these
Yeah,
guys are some of my favorite fighters out there in the UFC right now, and they're also
mhm,
fighting each other this weekend. So that's why it's incredibly exciting.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a great card, great night of fights. Uh, Make sure you guys don't miss it, and along with not missing it, don't miss our podcast. Now we're starting posting on YouTube, obviously, as well as the other places we are putting our podcast. We're also starting to put out a little more shorts and kind of upping our social media game. We've been
A
needing to
little
work
bit
on
of
that, so we are.
shorts, reels, threads, Twitter, um,
We're working. We're working.
TikTok, and audio-wise, you can find us on Spotify, as always, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, perhaps somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, with that, I've been Connor.
This is Evan. Thanks for tuning in,
Thank you very
everybody.
much.
We'll see you in the
Catch you
next
next
one.
time.